There we go. Nice. Hey, what's up, anglers? This is Pat Ogletree, one of the coaches here at Salt Strong, and in this video I got something a little bit different for you. We're actually doing an experiment on different lure colors and seeing if one lure will catch more fish than another lure while fishing for sight casted fish. So we're actually sight fishing and we're changing different lure colors to see if one will catch more fish than the other. So make sure to check out the video and stay around to the end where I talk about the single most important thing that you need to do to catch more fish. There we go. That was pretty cool. Saw this guy chasing some bait along this shoreline, and I placed a couple of casts, and for whatever reason he didn't like it. But what I did was I just timed it out to where I saw him cruise along this shoreline right here. I cast it up in that cove and just let it sit, and as soon as he came around that corner, I just twitched it a little bit, started reeling it in, and he jumped all over it. Pretty cool. And loosen up my drag here. Once you get them close to the kayak, you really want to, or boat I should say, kayak, boat, loosen up your drag a little bit, and that way whenever they go on that run, you'll have a little bit of give, especially if your rod is already kind of maxed out a little bit. I'll tell you what, these fish in Louisiana are absolutely the strongest redfish that I have ever fought. I mean, size for size, they're just powerful. I don't know if it's just because they're eating good or what, but these fish are definitely strong. There we go. Gotcha. Let's go ahead and bring him on aboard here. Got him on the gold digger. He's a chunky one for sure. Look at that. Nice little spot on that side, spot on that side. I mean, just look how fat these things are. Let's go ahead and let him go. And he's gone. There we go. That was just an awkward angle. Back and behind me. Whoa, there we go. That was a cool eat. I saw him cruising right along that shoreline right there, and that's really honestly been how I've been catching these reds for the past, I don't know, 3 or 4 weeks since I've been here in Louisiana. It's all about these grass lines right here. Get up in these bayous and just you watch for the littlest movement. What I'm doing is I can spot these fish by seeing the little tiny grass shrimp starting to flip up, and I'm not really even seeing the fish. I'm just seeing the way that these grass shrimp are jumping, and then you just follow that along, and you can actually put your lure right in front of where these fish are and intercept these. And that's exactly what I did, and that's how I've been catching these fish. So when it comes to the color, this is the gold digger. So I've got 2 on the gold digger, 1 on the slam shady with a dyed tail. So right now gold digger is ahead. I don't know if he's quite ready. He is now. Awesome. I love this type of fishing. This is so cool. There we go. Pretty fish. There, right there on the gold digger 2.0. Oh. Wow. Okay, so just a little tip for you whenever you're fishing these grass lines and you're actually fishing for these sight casted tube fish, you know, you're actually seeing the fish crawl. What you want to do is you want to make sure that your lure has a really soft presentation. You don't want to make a loud splash in front of them. So for instance, say I've got a fish that's working around this corner right here and he's moving kind of slow. What I'm actually going to do is I'm actually going to take my lure and I'm going to cast it up in the grass like that. So that way whenever the fish gets close, what I can do, you know, maybe when it moves into about 2 or 3 foot, I'm just going to take my lure and I'm just going to pull it right out of that grass, and it makes a super small splash, if any at all, and that way it doesn't clue that fish in that I'm here. It's a really natural presentation, and you don't have to worry about the splash scaring the fish off. Now, one thing that I do want to warn you on this one, don't try this with an open jig head. You want to make sure and use a weedless rigging hook like this one here. This is the Haas Helix rigging hook. This is the 3/0 and the 1/8 ounce. I've got that rigged on the 2.0, but you know, you definitely want to use something like that. An open jig head is going to get hung up and you're just going to wind up creating a problem. Now, word of warning, what I would do is make sure, and you're only doing this in this type of grass like this, don't do it in mangroves or anything like that. You're going to wind up getting stuck in there, or on docks or anything like that. Just try to stick to the grass when you're fishing these grass lines, and it works really well. So just a little tip for you next time. There we go. Nice. Okay, that was on the Slam Shady with the chartreuse tail. Saw him milling around over there. Actually, you know what? That wasn't the one I saw milling around. I didn't think you were ready. There we go. Pretty fish. Awesome job. Okay, so that was the end of the trip, and the final score, including the bites, which I always include the bites because the lure did its job, was 2 for the Slam Shady color and 2 for the Gold Digger color. Now, the Slam Shady color is the lighter one. That's this one that was white. Now, I did dye the tail chartreuse color using some Spike It Dip and Glow, and the Gold Digger is the black color. This is the black with a gold glitter on it, but both of them caught the same amount of fish, or they got the same amount of action, I should say. Now, what I did to make sure that everything was even was I was using the same size rods and the same reels. The rods that I was using was 7.5 foot medium light fast action. The reels were both the same. They were 2500 Daiwa BG MQs. They were both spooled with 10-pound Daiwa J braid in the Grand, the gray color 10-pound test, and they were both 20-pound test Andy monofilament leader. So I was taking all the variables out. So that way I wanted to make sure that one didn't have a favor over the other. Now, to be honest with you, each one of these fish that I caught were feeding fish. I actually saw them feeding before I casted to them. So that really goes to show you what's more important than the lure color is actually finding the feeding fish. Once you find feeding fish, everything else becomes easier. The only time color really makes a big difference is if you're trying to fish for fish that aren't actively feeding. But to make your life simpler when it comes to fishing, the best thing to do is find the feeding fish. So what we do here at Salt Strong is we help you do that with our technology, with the apps that we have. That's the Smart Fishing Spots app, our premium education that we have, which is the mastery courses that cover just about every subject that you can imagine in inshore fishing. And we also have a community of over 30,000 insiders that's sharing and receiving knowledge on how to catch more fish quicker and to find those feeding fish. So for more information on how you can become an insider and get on those feeding fish quicker, go to saltstrong.com, and I hope to see you there soon.